So I'm really looking forward to this podcast, Messy with Missy, with my friend Owen, and we're going to talk about all our experiences that we've had with haunted houses, poltergeist, whatever you call it. Um, do you want to share yours first, or I can share mine first? My first experience, like, did you ever have an experience before the one that you shared with me on Messenger, like when you were younger? Anything that,
Yeah.
yeah?
I used to my dad died when I was 3 months old.
Oh, sorry.
And thank you. Throughout my whole childhood, I always felt somebody sitting on my bed.
Oh,
And then when I was 12, I was crossing the street and I went to say goodbye to my mom before she got on the bus to go to school. And this car was coming towards me and I froze and
oh,
I couldn't move. And the next thing I know is I'm being pushed up against the car instead of being hit on head on.
oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's you just gave me chills right there. My first experience, to my knowledge, and again, I think it's a lot to do with like how we are as we're growing up. If we're really sensitive, we're more in tune to that.
Yep,
And also, too, you have to be a believer, right?
exactly.
Yeah. And from a very young age, for myself, I was a believer, and I remember I was 10 years old, living with my grandfather, and I played hooky that day. He was a principal at a school. So I called him in the morning and I lied and I said, Grandpa, I don't feel good. Can I stay home? Of course, he said yes,
Yeah.
you feel better. And I'm laying on the couch. And remember Phil Donahue?
Kinda.
Back in the day, like, so I'm talking like, I'm going to be 45. So this is like way back in the day. And I was watching, it was 10 o'clock in the morning. The sun was shining and I was laying on the couch and he lived in an apartment building. And I'm laying there and in the hall comes out an orb. That's the only way
Wow.
I can explain it. A ball of light. And it scared the crap out of me. I
Yeah.
I remember freezing on the couch, but still I could not keep my eyes off of it. And I watched it go out of the hall towards the TV that I was watching, and then it started to come towards me. And I just remember closing my eyes and like going, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god!" Like, don't come towards me, don't touch me. I don't know what it is, right? Never seen
Yeah.
anything like that in my life. I put my shoes on, went out the door, and I stayed outside in the park until my grandpa came home for 6 hours.
Wow.
Never said a word to him. And it wasn't until 10 years later that my aunt's fiance saw the same thing coming out of the kitchen in the same apartment.
Wow.
He was by himself and he went onto the balcony and he told me about it. I was like, oh my God, it was this big and like a bright light, but you couldn't take your eyes off of it. So that was my first experience.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. So it was a beautiful thing because I was scared because it's
Yeah,
something you're so young that you don't like, what is that? That's something you're not supposed to see.
exactly.
Yeah.
See, my son um has had cancer at a young age.
Oh, sorry.
And when he was 4, he used to jump on the bed and he would tell us that Jesus would come to him and tell him to stop jumping on the bed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then he there was this priest that belonged to my ex family's church,
Yeah.
and he died in a house fire, like, and my son saw his face in the wall
Oh, wow.
and it was burnt. He had burn marks.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's intense. Because I
Yeah, and he
even like there's
like
good ghosts and there are like I don't know if they call them poltergeists or whatever, but
mhm.
it's like some bad energy.
Yeah, like we dealt with that on beach, the house we rented before we moved back in with my mom.
Yeah.
Ma- My oldest daughter, her room had a portal and this mirror that was attached to the wall in her walk-in closet. And one night, her and her friend were webcamming, and they both fell asleep. They
Yeah.
left their stuff on. Well, her friend woke up and looked at the screen, and she saw a demon in Mandy's room.
Oh, wow. Oh my
Like
God.
Mandy see demons a lot in our house on beach, and I saw a guy with like a cowboy hat with plaid shirt, and uh, walked by and he just disappeared in
Oh,
my backyard. Yeah.
wow. I
Yeah.
yeah, no, I
Cra-
believe all that. Yeah, I believe all that because I remember when our kids were small, we moved into this home in Oakville and it was a bungalow. So we lived on the top floor and we had a renter in the basement. Beautiful house. We're maybe about a month in the house and I used to get dropped off at 3:30 in the afternoon by myself. The kids were still at school. Um or daycare, sorry, daycare. And I remember one time being in the basement and I was switching over the laundry and I heard my husband call my name. So I ran upstairs all excited. He's home. There's not a goddamn person in the house. Didn't think anything of it. I thought, okay, like maybe I heard something.
yeah.
And it would be stuff like I remember doing the dishes one day, and Megan was about 3, and Zach was only a year and a half. And I saw the kids with my eyes run through the kitchen. We had like the one way, you run out the other way,
Right.
run by me, behind me. And I remember going to turn to tell them to slow down because they were going to hurt themselves. Silence. So I'm like, what the hell? I run down the hall and they're in the playroom laying down underneath the blanket. And
Wow.
and I'm thinking there's no way that they already ran in the room because they're too young.
Yeah.
So I said to them, "Did you guys just come in the kitchen?" They're like, "No." And I'm like, "Okay, I didn't think you did." So I'd hear my name being called. Sometimes I'd be downstairs and I'd hear my husband saying my name, but his voice calling my name. And then one day my daughter was in the backyard with my mom, and out of nowhere she pointed to the kitchen window and she's like, again, she's only like 3, "Mommy, who's that old lady in the window?" We all just like got chills and
Huh.
got our son in the crib inside the house. We're thinking like, okay, maybe somebody's in the house. So my husband went in the house, nobody's in the house. But every time she was in the backyard, a couple times she saw this old lady, she described her, in the kitchen window.
Wow.
Man, it was really bothersome because it just got worse from there. But I want to click into your crazy stuff before I continue with mine.
Yeah, like I had I was in my room and I look over at this chair and I see Mandy sitting there.
Oh,
And then I turn and she's gone.
oh,
And Mandy would hear uh my ex call her name
yeah,
and she would hear me talking. Even in this apartment we're in now, like she'll hear me say something and I didn't say it.
oh,
And she's seen like because she's sensitive.
yeah,
So when my mom's cousin died, she saw him and then his mother
oh,
because he didn't pass on yet.
yeah,
Sometimes it takes up to 3 days after a person passes for them to cross over. It's
yeah,
not guaranteed. It's not right away.
no, yeah.
And like she would see my grandmother, she would see my dad
Oh,
sometimes,
wow.
her grandparents. She had this one spirit that was always telling her she can't do it, she's not good enough or whatever, right? And her papa would tell the spirit to shut up
Yeah,
and just say leave her alone, don't listen, and then it would tell her don't listen to her.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I believe there's good spirits that come around, and then there's like some real nasty ones. Like so in our house, so what happened after that was it got increasingly worse. So we had a baby monitor in the hall, and one night we heard it sounded like our daughter opening up her door, and we could hear her clear as day coming up the top of the stairs to our bedroom.
Yeah.
As we're looking at the door, waiting for her to open it, nothing happened. And we're kind of like looking, and I remember like nudging my husband and like, "Are you gonna go?" Because I don't want to go.
Yeah.
Sure enough, he got up and there was nobody there. And then it
Wow.
would be stuff like in the middle of the night, we had furniture downstairs in the basement, like dressers, big stuff like that. We would hear it fall over, like literally tumble over,
Wow.
banging, slamming, and like to the point where you were about to call the cops because you thought somebody broke in.
Yeah.
Nothing. Still standing there perfectly, nice and neat. Anybody that we had to come over to watch our kids in the house usually called us about 2 hours later and said, "Are you coming back home? Because I heard something and I don't want to be here and this is not cool."
Yep.
So yeah, I think just whatever was there just did not want us there at all.
Yeah, because it's their home.
Yeah, yeah. And I
And
think too, if shit happens in the daytime, like not the nighttime, but like actually in the daytime too, that's not good.
no,
No.
see, when I was at my mom's
Yeah,
trailer, I always felt in her bedroom uneasy,
yeah.
and where I would sleep when I would stay over. So one night, I turned the TV off. I put the remote on top of the TV, and like 5 minutes later, it flies off the TV.
Jesus.
So I get up, I grab the remote, I put the remote back, and I get back into bed. Well, all of a sudden, I can't move,
Oh,
and I hear birds flying over me,
oh wow.
and it is crazy. Like, and I'm trying to move and scream,
You can't.
nothing is coming out, and all I hear is these birds flying right over me. And my mom was next to me, and then she goes, "That's it. I'm getting up and going to the couch," because I guess she thought I was restless. I couldn't
Yeah,
sleep. And then I told her years later, like, what happened. And
yeah.
she's never experienced anything.
They call that
But
like I think it's like sleep paralysis, but when people explain it, it's very terrifying because I've had that too. It started off when I was about 6 years old. I had it where you're laying there, but your eyes are open,
yeah,
scream. You can't, and then people see black smoke sometimes. You feel like so scared. Like
yeah.
they know that it's not a good feeling.
I heard it means your spirit or soul has left the body.
Yeah, yeah, because if you talk to a lot of people, some people have had it, but not a lot of people. I haven't
Yeah.
had it in many years, but I've had it at least a good 10 times in my life. And it's terrifying.
See, I was wide awake.
Yeah,
I
no, you
was,
are wide awake. It feels like because your
yeah,
eyes are open, but your body is paralyzed. You
yeah,
can't
exactly.
move a finger, you can't scream. Maybe you can blink. That's pretty much it. But the feeling of like terror,
Yeah, you're
have
stuck.
like you heard stuff, like you heard the birds, right?
Yep.
So you had a whole different experience.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Like I always felt like there was something coming into my room when I was experiencing that, but I can never see it. It just
Yeah.
got very dark. But again, I couldn't scream. I couldn't move my toe. Um, yeah, it took about a good 15 minutes to snap out of it.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it's interesting that you've had that too. A lot of people have had that, but not very many.
And my daughter, Mandy, she's been scratched a lot in her life.
Oh,
And it's like 3 scratch marks. Like she'll be in the shower at one of our old places, and she'll feel uncomfortable, like somebody's watching her in the shower.
oh wow. Is this where
She'll
you
get
now?
no, where I live now, the whole building is haunted.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like the day I moved in, I put my keys somewhere. I said, "Oh, I'm gonna put them here so I don't lose them." I haven't found them, and I've been here since June.
They like taking things.
Yeah, and like my bathroom door will lock on its own.
Oh wow. Okay, I've heard of that too. We lived in a house one time in Cookstown, and it was a 100-year-old house, and those doors were thick, so there's no
Yeah,
reason to be swinging and slamming shut with the latch down. And it would do that. If the latch would come up and the door would open, and yeah, it was kind of like staring at it, like what the fuck is going
yeah.
on? Yeah. Wow.
And the first week here, I was gonna come up to my apartment, and like there's stairs going up because I'm on the second floor.
Yeah.
So the landing by my apartment door, there was this old woman from the 1800s. And I've
Oh
seen her before. I've seen her in Petawawa. Like I used to be touched all the time at night when my
wow.
ex would be on a fire. I would feel like someone's running their finger down my back
Wow.
all night long. I've smelt things like rotten uh decay and stuff, and it's like in the middle of the night, I'm like, I'm not gonna go look where it is. I'll figure it out tomorrow.
Yeah.
um it's coming from my kids' room. They're all asleep. I'm not gonna wake them. Next day, the smell's gone.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And I went to a medium, and that woman that I've seen a few times, apparently she was my grandmother in a another life,
Oh
and
wow.
I was a child that drowned, and she
Oh,
blames herself,
oh,
and she hasn't moved on, and so
yeah.
she's staying with me because she wants to protect me because she feels responsible for my death.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Oh. I believe in like all that stuff, like, even like reincarnation and stuff like that. Like our son one time, I think he was like 4, and we just moved to Oakville, that house that was haunted. And
yeah.
to the park for the first time, and out of nowhere, he looks at me and he's like, I remember coming here one time with my other mummy. And I just kind of looked and like didn't even think anything of it. I'm like, you've never been to this park before. And I'm
Eh,
your and he's like, no, I remember my other mommy used to take me here all the time to the park. And I was thinking, the hell is he talking about?
yeah,
Makes no sense. But certain places in Oakville, he would remember, like, I remember being here with my other mom, and I was just like, didn't really know about reincarnation. But when, after he
right,
passed away and he drowned, he was like a little boy, but like an old soul.
yeah.
He's like a little typical boy. Like he'd rather sit with like senior citizens and listen about antiques and
Wow.
trains and all their conversation than, kids his own age. So I do believe in stuff like that.
Yeah. Like Mandy remembers one of her past lives
Oh wow.
with in Mexico.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and she had this old house, and it was very small, and I think she had kids or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, but apparently, I was told Mandy was one time my mother in a past life.
Oh wow. Isn't that
Yeah,
interesting?
so
Wow.
it's easy. Like Mandy's always been an old soul as well.
Yeah. And you can just tell like the kids that are the old souls, right? Like
Yeah,
it's just, yeah, it's so interesting because I always think they've lived a lot of lives, and they maybe they don't remember, but sometimes they tap into it.
yeah.
Yeah.
When they're young, they will
Yeah.
because they just arrived.
Yeah. Exactly.
But as they get older, it'll start to go away. Like they won't remember.
Yeah. Like even when our son passed away, it was about a week after he drowned. He used to ride his bike by our living room window, and you would see the little blonde mohawk zipping by the window. And then
Yeah.
you hear the crash of his bike. And sure enough, one day, both my husband and I saw that little mohawk
Wow.
by the window, but it went on like every day for about a week. But
Holy cow.
yeah, and it'd be like really brief. And we both look at each other. Did you see that? Yeah. Did you see that? And like get chills and feel that at least like, I guess that was his way of giving a sign.
Yeah,
They say sometimes when somebody passes away, the first 2 weeks is when you're going to get the most signs.
I agree.
Yeah. Because they're
When,
trying to comfort us too. They know our
yeah,
pain. And they also, it's confusing for them too, right?
yeah,
They've just changed on to, a whole different world, whether it's not expected or, you know,
yes. Like after my dog Finn died, like that moment he died, Mandy was in the kitchen,
yeah.
and I text her. I said Finn's gone, and then when I got back, she says I knew he was gone because I saw him sitting on your bed.
Oh, wow.
And then every so often I would see Finn sitting on my bed, and then when we got Boots and
Yeah.
the kid at Boots, he was sitting. I saw it. He was sitting right by the kids when they came in to see Boots.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then when my cat died, because he went missing, months later after he was missing, I was in the kitchen
Yeah.
and over, and there he is sitting there.
Aw.
So I knew he passed away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Maybe. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
we had this dog when I was 16, she drowned
Yeah.
in the river in the backyard. And that night I heard her walking around the house.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Because they just come right back home.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Aw.
I could hear her collar jingle.
Oh, wow. I hear a lot of stories about that too, because it's not just like us people, it's animals
Right.
like too. Yeah. I remember when I once had a cat that was my best friend. I think he passed away when I was about 5. And the cat would always sleep in the bed with me and like rub my shoulders. And one night, it was the night I think it passed. I felt the little paw
Aw.
returning. I didn't see him, but I remember
Right.
like at that point not knowing what was going on. But like I never sleep with my shoulder uncovered now because of that. But yeah, made me think. Yeah, maybe he came back. He wanted to keep sleeping in my bed.
Yeah,
Couldn't
he wanted to say it
back.
was okay.
Yeah,
Goodbye.
yeah. Like even when I saw the orb when I was 10, I never told my mom, my father, because I remember thinking like, how would you do this? Like, you can't really explain that to your parents. They'd probably be like, oh, sure you did, right?
Yeah,
Think you're
exactly.
crazy or something like that.
I would do videos of my dog Weaver when he was a puppy at my old place,
Yeah.
and I'd send it to people, and there'd be orbs in the video.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
And my ex does that with Boots because I gave Boots to him,
Oh, nice. Yeah.
and he'll send me videos. And I one time I said, Mike, there's orbs in that video you sent me. And he goes, what are orbs? I go, spirits.
Yeah.
And his place is really haunted. My son was in his room one night and he looks over and there's this girl peeking in to his bedroom.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
My friend Ashley, she's a medium and her place is really haunted. There's this woman in her daughter's room that's protecting her daughter, but there's a demon. And this, my friend's daughter, one day stabbed my friend's boyfriend in the back with a fork and put him on the ground.
Jesus.
Yeah. And Ashley's daughter, I don't think has any recollection of it. Like,
Yeah, she
she
probably was planning.
don't know things that she shouldn't
Yeah.
because she was never told.
Yeah.
And Ashley went to sage her daughter's bedroom, and the spirit tried to stop it, and Ashley got burnt.
Oh, wow. Oh my God.
Yeah. And then there's this guy in her basement that was killed, and Ashley had him cross over, but Lily has the ability, and Lily brought him back.
Oh, okay.
The housing in Pembroke, you talk to everybody there, they'll all have stories.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like Ashley went to my daughter's room because Mandy was over at Ashley's and it was too much for her.
Yeah.
It was overwhelming. So she wanted to go home and then they took her home. And then Mandy was upstairs crying. So Ashley goes upstairs. And as Ashley is walking into the bedroom, this male spirit runs right by her that was sitting on my other daughter's bed.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So you lived in a lot of places.
Yeah. Like my ex was stripping the girls' beds.
Yeah.
Takes it downstairs to wash. She goes back upstairs and the bed's made.
Oh my God.
With the pillow, everything set up. A stuffed animal that was in the closet was up on the bed,
Wow.
nice by the pillow, sitting up. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I think if that was me, I think I'd want to move.
Yeah. Well,
Like, or then be thankful that I made the bed. So it'd kind of be like a toss up for me.
yeah, exactly. Maybe they could do the dishes.
Yeah. I hear like, yeah, like I have stories that I won't share right now because people probably would think I was crazy and lock me up. But I have a lot of stories after Zach passed away that are just unexplainable. Even
Yeah.
like even when my mom passed away, I don't even know how to explain it. It was just I got the call. Unfortunately, she was passed on for 7 days in her apartment,
Oh my God.
and she had two cats, and I right away I was like, well, where are the cats? Like, well, I want to make sure the cats are okay. They assured me the cats were fine. The
Oh,
animal
thank.
control had come in, taken them out. Don't worry, you don't have to go till tomorrow. So I think I heard at 6 o'clock at night that my mom had passed away. But something in my brain was bothering me, and I kept saying to my husband that, oh, I don't know how to tell you this, but I think that there's one cat left in my mom's apartment. And he said, no, 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 they got them both. And I said, no, but it was like an overwhelming feeling because at first I didn't want to go back in her apartment, knowing
Yeah.
he had been there for so long. But I couldn't get this thought out of my head. I didn't know the cat's name. I just knew that there was a cat left in there. And shit, you fucking not. I go the next day, knock on the superintendent's door. He gives me my mom's keys. And the first thing he says is, are you here to get the cat?
Wow.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I thought they both got them. And he said, but what happened? The animal control came and one was hiding. So they thought it either hopped off the balcony. They
Oh,
could not find it. So I remember opening my mom's apartment door, and it was the worst experience I'd ever experienced my whole entire life. And I was in there for a good 40 fucking minutes in a really tiny apartment looking for this cat in drawers, cupboards.
yeah.
Couldn't find it. And I remember I was about to give up, and I yelled out to my mom, I'm fucking done. Like, I'm about to boot the fuck out of here. And if your cat's in here, you better make it appear. And sure enough, something in my brain said, kick over she had like a little chair, like a lazy boy chair.
Okay.
Kick over the chair. And I kicked over the chair, and the cat was hiding, he had ripped the material,
Uh-huh.
and he was hiding inside. And sure enough, he came out. He was happy as could be that he could see somebody that he knew.
Yep.
Hall, and then we went to the animal control and got the other one. But like,
Wow.
talk about like, I don't know if you call that a sign, but I think when people pass on, if they're so passionate and want to give you a message, it goes into your brain and you can't interpret it whatever
Yep.
way. It's just that feeling that I had. I was like, oh, there's a cat, and everybody's like, you're crazy. Why would they leave a cat? You know,
Yeah.
they did.
Exactly.
Yeah, not on purpose. Just they thought that maybe he hijacked
Yeah.
off. Yeah, but yeah, just the world's amazing. I tell you, I think when people think that when you pass away, nothing happens after that, that you're done.
Yeah.
Bad way to think. I know that when I pass away, I'm going to see my son. I'm going to see my mom. I'm going to be
Yep.
with all the people that I love.
Exactly. They'll be waiting for you.
Yeah. And signs, you get signs all the time, right? Like, I think if you ask for signs, you don't necessarily get them right when you ask, but you just have to keep
Yep.
like dimes. Like, if you ever find dimes, we don't have change anymore. He uses money and gets change.
Exactly.
Yeah. Dimes, everything. But thank you for doing this podcast with me.
No problem. Thank
And
you for having.
yeah, and you have a good afternoon. And I'm looking forward to posting this.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.